I would love to get your friend. I know you're friends with Roseanne Barr. If there's a
Yeah.
possibility, man, that we can get her down there. I wish I had a second guy with a private jet. I'd send the second private jet to pick her up, but she's probably got her own anyway.
Stay with me. It's a pill to swallow, but I'm the writer that came up with that. Here's what's going on. Here's what's going
maybe
on.
maybe
Here we, I am
I should
Morpheus.
change
I
my
am telling you.
glasses so I could be the white Neo. What's that guy that
Yeah,
played
there you go.
right?
All
There you
right.
go, man. Let's
They
do it.
don't want me spelling this out. I can't believe you're not interrupted on your signal here because that's what you got to know this. You got to know this. Now, what is Warner Bros. Playing at in the agencies? They have control. If Elon Musk steps out of line with what they want off his puppet strings, right by the president, then they will call it back in. That is our tech, not yours, Elon. We did it. Everybody knows Matrix is about Jack's the back of the neck. Everybody knows that we're the ones that did it first. You didn't. Everybody knows that we have control of that, not you. So he has to, if he wants to be that playboy, as he claims, and have all that money and all that power, which he's after, a failed guy, then, and all the grooming, he has to allow them to call the shots. Now, the whole push by the media is to groom him to seem like he's going to be our savior.
Savior. Yeah.
Yes. What happens is something happens to Trump and Pence, and this is the writer. I know it sounds like I'm off in writer la la land, but no, this is real. Think of how simple. They're so stupid. They position it so obvious that when we catch on, they lose. When we catch on, the public wins. Catch on. So Elon Musk's position there, he's not very articulate off script. Yeah. And so what happens is he can't even explain the Neuralink. I can.
But before we get started, folks, make sure you hit the pause button. Okay, go down below. There's a Rumble link. Go over to Rumble and follow us over there. QFS1776.com is without question the holy grail of what's to come. Okay, t-shirts. You got to get yourself decorated. This way, people will ask you, what is XRP? What is the quantum financial system? What is this? What is that? And you send them where? To QFS1776.com, where they need to immerse themselves because we're going to burn down this system down to the ground. And out of the ashes will rise the phoenix. There will be nothing to go back to. Believe me when I tell you that. Also, our Telegram groups down below. If you want to learn what's coming and you're sort of a little scared, I understand. Believe me, I was there too at one point. And if you need more than $10,000 worth of XRP or $1 million worth of XRP, you come see me. Send me an email at QFS1776@gmail, and we'll get you as much as you want. Gold and silver. Welcome to CarminesGold.com. Don't waste not even a second looking. Cheaper prices just don't exist. How important is it for you to own gold and silver right now? What does it mean to me personally? There's an economy that's about to crash beyond what words can explain. In 5 words, I'm going to educate you on gold and silver. Are you ready? You need to own some. Simple.
Go. There's a lot of infiltration, a lot of players in position on both sides. It's could be mayhem, but what concerns me is Washington, D.C. is all about compromise. And, you hear these rally calls and then it's like compromise when it gets down to the dirt and gritty. It's like compromise is made, compromise is made. I don't think any compromises should be made with agencies that have been involved with employing, absorbing Nazis and trafficking children. There's no compromise. They should just be defunded, and there should be just major things addressed and taken care of, like freeing the children, making sure our judicial system's proper. It's not pick and choose depending on what the wheel and deal is. So right now you've got a situation where our president has Elon Musk right by him. And Elon's not what he's cracked up to be. He's actually under the control of Warner Brothers, Disney, agencies. There's a lot going on. And so the guy like me who wrote the Matrix story, I can see it. I can see what's going on. I know what's going on because a lot of the players tell me what's going on because they're fans of the work. They know that, it was taken. General public still catching up to what is actually going on. So we got some long miles to go, but some important miles to go. But it could actually turn out that everything will work out.
Hold on one second. Hold on. I gotta answer Nino for sure.
Sure.
Nino, I'm on a podcast. I'll call you in a little bit. Nino Rodriguez. there's a story that's breaking here as well. There's
Okay.
one of his fans. He has a private jet and wants to pick him up to bring him to the actual quantum summit in Cape Canaveral. So we're going back and forth with. And I told him, I
Perfect.
says, this is a great way to break a story because that would be newsworthy. Nino Rodriguez going to the
Yeah.
quantum summit in a private jet. Mel's picking him up. You know what I mean? We'll
Right.
videotape the whole thing. I mean, it's just gonna be crazy, right? Anyway, long
Wait.
story short, guys, for those of you who don't know, okay, Tom and I, we're like when I meet certain people out there and we become peas in a pod right away. This
Yeah.
is one of those guys, right? Tom happens to be the guy who wrote the actual Matrix that then Warner Brothers stole from him. He's got all the paperwork. He's going to tell you on stage the ins and outs of Hollywood, behind the scenes, behind the curtain, all the dirty shit that's happening. And if you want to hear that story, you got to get down to the Quantum Summit because that's the only place you're going to hear it. And it will be the final Quantum Summit. This is like sadomasochism on steroids, let me tell you. Tom, welcome to the show. Tell us
Thanks.
everything we need to know, short of what you want to tell us on stage, obviously. And I would love to get your friend. I know you're friends with Roseanne Barr. If there's a
Yeah.
possibility, man, that we can get her down there, I wish I had a second guy with a private jet. I'd send the second private jet to pick her up, but she's probably got her own anyway.
Yeah, we're supposed to do a part two. Her son Jake is was ready to schedule that. She's been out in Hollywood. As soon as she gets back in Texas, I offered to go to Hollywood and do it too. So I've got her birthday present for her and everything. So yeah, she's been great. She's been just such a support. And she's the one that said, this is the greatest story. She said that Trump's whole family knows the story. That gives me hope. We ran into a um, um, hurdle, if you will, because I was supposed to be with Trump and working with him. He knew our story. Roseanne Barr said that proofs, it's undeniable, basically. Then Elon enters the picture. Now, people have to understand there's a big thing going on here. If anybody out there has had suspicions about Elon Musk, they are not ungrounded. What happened was the Neuralink has become a big battleground. And right now, Trump is in position to make a decision on whether what happens to this device that can enslave an entire population. That's what it does in the screenplay. And what you have that comes from the screenplay. Now, here's what I'll point out to people. One of the things I want to say from the stage is if you had chosen before you were born to be at the most greatest time to be alive, if you want to make a difference, it's now. It's right now. We're at the starting gate. So when Elon announced that, it's a golden age, it's not a golden age yet. He's in the way of that golden age. And let me explain. What's the first thing to come to mind if I say Jack's the back of the neck? What do you think of? What film do you think of if I say Jack's the back of the neck?
I'm not a
Matrix?
big film guy. I
Oh,
completely
okay, Matrix.
abandoned.
Okay, don't worry.
Yeah,
Matrix.
I watched The Matrix. Okay,
Right.
I watched some films. I like films. I don't watch mainstream media, and I really abandoned that 36, 37 years
Don't
ago.
worry. I don't watch them either, really, but I was just thinking like the iconic thing of Jack's the back of the neck is what Warner Brothers said at my deposition when they threw my case by having their own defense attorneys come to represent me. Their own defense attorneys that were classmates came to represent me. Block all evidence, make everything. That's the only way you can get MSJ. Block all the evidence. But the
Classmates,
first thing,
huh? They sold
yeah,
out
the
their money
classmates
in.
from University of Berkeley. University of Berkeley. Plus, he had a suspended license. Plus, this Tony Rankin from Maui was classmates with Linda Bro from Caldwell, Leslie and Proctor, Warner Brothers firm. He had a suspended license. He said he was working for them in the end. And when I tried to fire him, he allowed them half hour after I fired him. He said he told me he got on the phone with Warner Brothers, his classmate attorney, and said, you can proceed to summary judgment without any objections, throwing our ability to have any evidence entered. That's the only way you can get a summary judgment. Now, what's important to note is the first question they asked me, didn't have any deposition to them, was, you don't have Jack's the back of the neck, do you? There's no Jack's the neck in your screenplay. I opened this blindly, 128 pages, and there was Jack's the neck. What's interesting is, get this, in history, I'm pointing a picture of what Elon has is stolen tech. This is very important to realize. He's a fraud. He's got stolen tech, and he's by the president's side for a reason. A reason. And it doesn't take a lot to figure this out. He's supposed to represent our savior. And I know I'm on a chopping block by talking about this, but it cannot be held back. It has to be exposed. And for those of you that have been wondering and had doubt, I'm going to back you. I'm going to explain that's my tech he has that made him the richest man in the world. That is not supposed to be utilized. It is for the story, not to link up and have all these people tied together and enslaved. If they do a Neuralink, we are going to be linked where they can then input take our link out, as in the story, and we will lose our memories. We'll be dependent on the link for our memories. It's just not good. Also, intellectual property theft. Just have a thug hired by the agencies, take your link or your wife's link. You got your intimate moments right there, experiencing what you felt. You've got your intellectual property taken, bathing your child. It's all there. They take everything. They can pick it and choose what they want and condemn you, make it public, your own thoughts. So what's going on right now is we've got a situation where Warner Brothers claims the Neuralink. Now get this. Warner Brothers with the agencies, Hollywood works with the agencies, claims the Neuralink. When the work was taken, when this screenplay was taken, which Warner Brothers doesn't claim the Matrix, they claim the Immortals title. That's what they have a copyright on, with Tom Hanks ordered and commissioned to take this work. It's in the Copyright Office. So they don't claim the Matrix title. It's mind-boggling, but they had the tech all through it that was published, and they have the story. They give the story to Wachowskis. Now get this. In 1995, the Wachowskis got so greedy, they announced, we want to do Jackson Neck for real. Think of that. What are they saying? We want credit for the Neuralink. We want to do Jackson Neck for real. We don't want just to be given the stolen story. We don't want to give the stolen tech. We want to go down in history as the owners of Neuralink. And in the screenplay, in the story treatment and notes, it says Neuro in my notes. So what you've got is they got greedy. Warner Brothers went, you don't get the Neuralink. We reserve to decide. We have the right to decide who gets Neuralink. Now watch the process. What happens, follow the trail. Iron Man 2, 2010 or 2011, 2010, I think it is. Iron Man 2, they feature Elon Musk for the first time. He shows on there in a cameo where Tony Stark comes up at the raceways and says, hey, you're Tony Stark. He's there by Warner Brothers grooming him. He hasn't been given the tech. He has no claim on it yet. He hasn't announced it yet. But yes, they've taken the tech and they are holding it till they give it to the right candidate that they can control. Follow the trail. So in Iron Man 2, it is a grooming. But step one, groom your candidate. They groom him there. Next on Sheldon, get this. Watch the clip on Sheldon, owned by Warner Brothers. On Sheldon, they show a clip, and I have it for you, a clip of Elon Musk stealing from Sheldon's notebook, the genius, to claim his rocket tech. They show him, Elon Musk himself, playing that role on Sheldon, and they have CNN on the line in the clip calling in, which is owned by Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers is doing a shaming ritual. So first you groom him, then you shame him, and then you give him the tech. Now, why do they do that? Because they have control of the tech. If Elon steps out of line, if any of the witches of the cabal, the agencies, or Warner Brothers, stay with me. It's a pill to swallow, but I'm the writer that came up with that. Here's what's going on. Here's what's going on.
Maybe I should
Morpheus.
change my glasses so I can be the white Neo. And what's that guy that?
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
All
there
right.
you go, man.
They don't want me spelling this out. I can't believe you're not interrupted on your signal here, because that's what you got to know this. You got to know this. Yeah. So groom him. He failed at what he did. He was going bankrupt. He's brought in, just like the Wachowskis. Wachowskis given the story. Wachowskis get greedy, say, we want Neuralink. We want to do it for real. Warner Brothers said, no, you don't get that too. Sorry, you get the story, right? They get to steal the story. We control who gets it. They groom. Iron Man 2, there's a cameo. It doesn't fit the story. Just there he is, just shown. Then you get shaming, which he isn't given the tech yet. On Sheldon, he's going to, he's playing himself stealing tech from geniuses, right? Next, you give it to him. And that is in 2017, 2016, 2017. He didn't enter at the patent office. It was done for him through Warner Brothers personnel. So it's entered in. Now, what is Warner Brothers playing at in the agencies? They have control. If Elon Musk steps out of line with what they want off his puppet strings, right by the president, then they will call it back in. That is our tech, not yours, Elon. We did it. Everybody knows Matrix is about Jack's the back of the neck. Everybody knows that we're the ones that did it first. You didn't. Everybody knows that we have control of that, not you. So he has to, if he wants to be that playboy, as he claims, and have all that money and all that power, which he's after, a failed guy, then, and all the grooming, he has to allow them to call the shots. Now he's positioned right by the president. Why do you think that is? The whole push by the media is to groom him to seem like he's going to be our savior.
Yeah.
Yes. What happens is something happens to Trump and Pence, and this is the writer. I know it sounds like I'm off in writer la la land, but no, this is real. Think of how simple. They're so stupid. They position it so obvious that when we catch on, they lose. When we catch on, the public wins. Catch on. So Elon Musk is positioned there. He's not very articulate off script. Yeah. And so what happens is he can't even explain the Neuralink. I can. So now we have Roseanne Barr brought me on public awareness and says this is the greatest story. Tom, you're a genius. Uh-oh, Elon. Uh-oh. And that Trump knows all about our story. His whole family does. Uh-oh, Elon. Uh-oh. So now they're pushing Elon even further to look like he's going to be our savior. What's interesting is he doesn't even like the general public. He's part of the elite. If you watch how he treats the general public, it's disdain. It's like Goebbels looking at that Jewish correspondent, that black and white photo where he's sitting down looking at him with this like disgust. Watch him on clips, how Elon responds to the general public. Now, I'm spelling all this out. That is not his tech. Neuralink is not his. It's hand given to him, and he wants it. Give me everything you got. He's positioned by the president, and if anything happens to Trump and Pence, how many shots have been taken yet? What's going to happen is they're expecting that everyone's going to say, Elon, save us. Elon, save us. It's like ancient Rome. Elon, save us. And he bought his way in. He's there by the president's side because he gave money. He didn't earn it. He doesn't have the degree. He went to the University of Pennsylvania. That is not MIT. That is not Stanford. That is not Brown. And that is not Rice. That's not Oxford. That's University of Pennsylvania.
I used to follow Elon Musk when Tesla was owned by two dudes, okay, that I was a big fan of back then, okay? And all of a sudden, he's the guy. He's the genius. This guy's a mumbling idiot. He's a stuttering motherfucker that can't get two words out of his fucking mouth properly.
Thank you.
Now check this out. Check this out. And then I'm gonna let you continue because this story is fascinating.
No, I want to hear what you say. I want to hear what you say because I'm just gonna lay it out.
We know for absolute fact because I have friends that unfortunately passed on, like John Lear. Okay, I've talked to John a few times, and I talked to the guy that wrote the Beyond the Pale Horse. What's his name? Can't think of his name right now. Damn, I'm bad, really bad with names. It will come to me. But anyway, I'm trying to think of his name. Oh, I hate this. But anyway, I will come to it. But anyway, so there's a situation where we have tunnels bored throughout the crust of the earth. It's been bored here by extraterrestrials who are 10 million years more advanced than us. And they're going to credit him. And he's the guy with the boring company. Give me a break. Bill Cooper is the guy's name. Bill Cooper knows about this. He's dead, unfortunately. I didn't spend time with him physically, but I was on the phone with him many times. Bill, what's his name? John Lear, same thing. John Lear used to talk in code with admirals, say, have you been down in the tunnels lately? Okay. And they know what they're talking about. The boring tunnels that can get you from California to Beijing, China in under 2 hours.
Yeah. I've been walked through tunnels. Yes.
And they're gonna credit this idiot of a guy that he's the genius that came out with it all. And we have a system that is more sophisticated than the highway systems in Los Angeles in the crust of the earth that can get you anywhere on planet Earth in literally like that. Continue, please.
Absolutely. It's insane. He hasn't really created anything, yet he's been groomed off the charts by the mainstream media. Groomed to be our savior. I don't want him to be my savior. He's not my savior. I don't want to be my savior. And I don't want the Neuralink. Neuralink can be used medically to help Alzheimer's. It can help people who are, have had brain injuries and things like that. Maybe help people to walk. But, even in the story, it's got the Alzheimer's aspect. And keep in mind, this screenplay comes from 1993 when it was actually given to Warner Brothers. And the Joel Silver claims it in 94, enters it in. But the thing is, Wachowski's claim in 96, they're given permission to take it. And then Elon Musk arrives on the scene in 2017, getting credit. That's when it finally enters the patent office. And they changed the law when the case was thrown. Get this. The law was changed for the patent office in 2013 when our case was being thrown. They changed the law that it's no longer who publishes the tech. It's who claims the tech. Now let's look at this scenario. What's that mean? Does it make sense? If you change the law, that it's no longer who publishes. First of all, let's go back to what it originally was. Who publishes it gets credit. That's with copyright too. Why? Because then the idea can be nurtured and finessed by the original creators till its full fruition, and then it's released for others to work on it. Makes sense. Now, if you change the law to who spikes it first at the patent office, used to be old spike pin. If you spike it first at the patent office and claim it there, what's that mean? It's no longer who publishes and understands it. It's whatever schmuck is given it. And so here's what happens. If you universal surveillance, you can take whatever somebody comes up with right away and then run the garbage man down to it and spike it. And it's his. It's his. It's his. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand it, but he gets credit for it because he was the first one to spike it. That makes no sense whatsoever. You could have a guy in your office planted there, which agencies do, emptying the trash. And there's the notes, a first draft, whatever notes in there about, Neuralink. You have somebody spike it and you give it to the guy like Elon Musk. Elon Musk is beholden to the agencies and Hollywood. He will do whatever he says because he wants the money and he wants the girls. And that's the other thing too. When you hear him talk, and I've had a lot of analysts talking about this too, he doesn't talk like he's got compassion for people. He doesn't talk like he actually cares. He says the words, but there's nothing going on. And he talks about how he can't turn off his genius. This one documentary, he said, I was a little boy at 5 years old, which I said in interviews at 5 years old, I couldn't turn off the creativity. I got notebooks, Mel. I've got all kinds of drafts, drawings, artwork, everything that deals with the stuff I couldn't turn off, even at a young age. Even my professors or school teachers would say, this guy's different. He's a genius. They noted that. Elon Musk doesn't act like he's got lots of notes everywhere or I couldn't turn it off. Looks like he's fine. His brain is just functioning with lots of echoes. There's nothing there that's like really, tasking him where it's like layers going on and thinking. If you're thinking in layers, you become a little awkward socially. You kind of talk really fast like I do, and they make fun of that. But we can't turn off our thinking. We're quick on the thoughts and we're quick on our... But if you put us at the podium, we're not going to do what he did. We're not going to just sit there and just like repeat the same phrase with long pauses and just like talk about ourselves. We have a lot of that stuff going on like right now in front of you. That's why
I'm with you. I'm not doing the Neuralink, but let's ask the question. Okay. Let's ask the question. Is it really him? Is it Elon, or is it somebody wearing a mask, or is it a clone? What is it?
I would not be surprised if it's because he doesn't speak that well. They hire D players, people that failed because they feel they'll be more loyal. See, they'll take the carrot more than someone who's accomplished, right? So you take D players and you give them a way in to success and fame and fortune, and so that's what they did with him, and that's what they did with Wachowski's. They saved Keanu Reeves' career that way. So back to your question, is it him? I would not be surprised at specific important events if they have somebody with a mask on, because he just doesn't cut it when it comes to showing brilliance. That's the problem for the other side with using what they call D players, failed people. When you use failed people and pass them off as geniuses, they're going to slip up from their own ego and arrogance. It kind of takes over when you don't have the smarts. You start to fill it in with your arrogance and your bravado.
Brother, we don't need Neuralink to cure Alzheimer's. We don't need any of this bullshit. None of it. Zero. Okay. We have technology in Cape Canaveral. Okay.
Good. That's refreshing.
That is a frequency that people, the bodies itself, it's the body that does all the curing, not the machines. The machines are not medical devices. Okay. No, they just provide a frequency that the body understands, and it's the body that fixes itself because the body wants to heal. The body wants to heal. The body.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing. In the screenplay, you have the program, the red pill, blue pill, right? And just quickly, just think of that they reversed it. They reversed it, the red pill and blue pill. And because they were making up as they go along off the visual storyboard, we lifted everything from the screenplay. That's how they did it. Reverse engineer that. They lifted everything on a visual storyboard. Wachowski's like, Elon, we're not that smart. And so their solution to steal the work they didn't understand was to make a visual storyboard, lifting every concept they thought was cool. Jack's the Neck, Squiddies, the little girl at the train station, the red pill, blue pill, enhancer, all that. Lifting that into visuals in a visual storyboard. They thought they could make it up on set. Get this. As they go along, somehow with all these union wage people there without a script, and the fight choreographer contacted me, this Brian guy contacted me and said this was in hand with a visual storyboard. So their genius plan, as idiots, was to make up the story with this in hand and the visual storyboard in hand. It's not going to work under pressure. You got all these people waiting for the next scene, and you're going to get angry at them. And that's what happened. Fights broke out. They started screaming and yelling at their own staff, their own posses on set. They then instituted, get this, they instituted a 20-foot rule. Now, this is all over the news. 20-foot rule. Why'd they put a 20-foot rule in a film set? Coffee girl, stay back. Lay it on the table. Don't come within 20 feet. You're fired. Why, Mel? Why would you have a 20-foot rule? It sounds kind of stupid. Unless you have a stolen script in your hand and you don't want to be able to read it at 20 feet. Makes sense? That's the only reason for a 20-foot rule. How asinine are they? If they left steak crumbs, not breadcrumbs, all over the place. In fact, like I said, Warner Brothers doesn't have a copyright on this. We hold the copyright. We hold the copyright. Then they enter Tom Hanks in the Copyright Office, ordered and commissioned by Warner Brothers and HBO to write The Immortals. Can you get better than that? That's why they had to supply their own attorney, a defense attorney with a suspended license to throw the case by soliciting the author. That's what they did. So if you Google the name, you'll say he lost his case. There's no similarity. They provided how to steal it by blocking all evidence going in through their own plant and stooge. And Elon's one of those stooges. Now he's got the tech. He knows, Trump knows, Roseanne knows that that's stolen tech.
Trump is putting him out there, right? Trump is putting him out there as a pawn to get slaughtered.
There's the question. Trump is either super, super smart in what he's doing, or there's another darker reason. I don't know. I don't know the answer yet. But the thing is, yes, he could have Elon on that keep your enemies close, but he doesn't act like he's an enemy. You know, it's like I'm watching this going like, what are the signs? I can't tell. Trump's either the best poker player on the planet, or I can't tell what's going on, you know? And you're in a place where it's compromised. Is Trump going to turn Washington around from no longer compromise with goons and people who traffic children and steal intellectual property? Or is he going to compromise and say, I'll do this for the greater good by allowing the agencies to get away with what they did? I don't think the agencies should get away with what they did.
Absolutely.
They should be defunded right now.
Tom, look at this. His 9th day in office starts today. Technically speaking, he's only in office 8 days. Look at the amount of work that he's done. Even on CNN, they're recognizing it. They're around. Yeah. There are people leaving on their own that are here illegal on their own because they want to try to get through the right door because they have ambitions to come back in the United States the proper way.
Yes. The head of the FBI resigned. Good sign. Trudeau resigned. Good sign. Trudeau from Canada is very much connected, the PM, connected to the cabal. And I know that personally. He was involved in my situation. Now, the question is Trump, he's running a great race. He's coming to the finish line. He's got to cross the finish line. To cross the finish line, you defund the agencies. Don't compromise with them. And don't let them get away with it. Don't defund them and let them get away with it. So the idea is what disturbs me right now, Mel, is this too. Besides the stolen tech that could enslave the world, you know, he knows. Come on, Trump, you got this. Make the right decision. There's also the question about the children. And I predicted this, and I'm not happy that it's coming the way I thought it would be. Think of this. All these children have been released, all right, at a certain time. It begs the question, why weren't they released before? It sounds like a deal was made. The agency said, okay, yeah, we know where all these kids are. We'll release a bunch of them. But then you let us hold on to the best. You let us not be charged with any crime. You let us share in the glory and the praise of having these children released. They knew all the time where they were. It's time to call the markers in. It's time to say, agencies, release all your records to us right now. Every child gets free right now, no compromise, and you will be punished to the full letter of prosecution and the law, like a Nuremberg trial, for what you did to all these children, trafficking and profiting across the world. That's what should happen right now. No compromise. You can say, like Lincoln did in the Civil War, he said that he would free the slaves if it preserved the Union. He'd let them be enslaved if it preserved the Union. He would free them in the South, but not in the neutral countries if it would save the Union. We can't do that anymore. What Lincoln should say is, I'm freeing the slaves, no holds barred, and I'm gonna get it done. No more Uncle Tom's Cabin. It's done. Trump has the chance to make a first in history to do it right without compromise. Come on, Trump.
And he's going to. And guys, if you want to see this guy live, he's going to be at the Quantum Summit. That's an act you don't want to miss. Let me tell you something. I can't wait to give you a tour of stayingalive.com, which is our website. It ends with two E's, by the way, because the other one's owned by the Bee Gees, even though two of them are dead. Okay.
Yeah.
I think two of them are dead, right? Not all three of them. I think
So,
one's still
yeah.
alive. I think Barry's still alive. So anyway, long story short, we got this, light system technology that is on steroids. The bodies are curing themselves, not the technology. Technology is providing the energy, right? So I want to word this properly because it's really not a sales pitch. It's really the real truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It is the body that understands this technology and creates billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of healthy cells. And then the body goes into repair mode. I can't wait to show this to you because we don't need the Neuralink. Okay.
No.
And Roseanne Barr, you and I are now friends by default because I'm friends with him and he's good friends of yours. So you and I are friends. You need to be at the Quantum Summit. Hopefully Tom takes this and sends it to you because you need to come hang out with Mel Carmine and Tom at the same time. We're going to capture lightning in a bottle.
Well, let me talk to her
and tell the story of how this planet is going to be heaven on earth. And we're going to paint a picture of the next 50 years. It's going to be epic, man.
Yeah, Roseanne is a hero in our time. Now, she's going to be pressured right now. She's going to be pressured. She's going to be pressured to compromise. What they do is rewards and honors, threats, rewards, and honors. They try to scare you, and they try to flood you with rewards. That's the game played when you're considered an A-team player, an A player, not a D player. Elon doesn't get that. Elon's a D player. He's a failed player. So he's offered, you steal this, you work for us, and that way they get the tech in-house. They get the story and the intellectual property in-house. The reason they hired the Wachowskis when they failed in Wine and Dine Them and promised some beautiful women, Gino Laurentiis did this, who had his copyright on the Immortals title also. He wine and dined the Wachowskis, promised some beautiful women, fame, and fortune. When they failed at everything they did, their painting contract, their schooling, they had Plastic Man and Carnivore, they had nothing to bring to the table. They're failed writers, but they're wine and dine and promised the world. Why? Because we're going to bring you in-house at Warner Brothers, and then we can claim the work in-house proxy through you. If you behave yourself. See? They shame you. They have something where they have it over you, right? Sex with a guy, something like that. They have it over you, filmed. And then you will behave yourself and do what they want and steal and then take all the rewards and everything else. But they have trouble at speaking engagements. Wachowski did, Elon did. Watch that. But Roseanne's in a tough pickle. She's in a tough situation right now. Because I think right now, Trump's buying some time because he has a decision to make. Now, if we bring all this stuff forward and keep bringing it forward, Trump will have an easy time with his decision. Basically, here's what I get from Trump. Show me a good man and a good woman. Show me good people in my country. Show me good people that make it worth that I take this risk, that I take this decision. Show me that you're worth it. Show me, public, that you understand it, that you're smart and you get all this. Then I will make that executive order. I'll make that decision. Show me, because there's a lot riding for him on this. So we have to show him basically that it is the right decision, that we're backing him, that this is a good thing to do. Stop Neuralink, remove Elon Musk from your side. It's not a good choice. And then I think we can then have that golden age. You don't want the enemy right in your camp standing right by you. It reminds me of the Omen. At the end of the Omen, the president is there and you got this kid holding his hand who turns around and looks at us and smiles. That genius kid named Damien Thorne. It's like the same thing. Put him right by the president. And the whole message of the Omen was clear way back. He then gets to be president when something happens to the president. They imitate art. They're imitating the very story, and they joke about that and brag about that. They laid it out. We know the story. They're not that smart. They laid it out too clearly. So it's time to encourage Elon to go somewhere else.
But I got to add this to it. Recently, his nanny was interviewed on a couple of shows. And she just said the same fucking thing you just said. That this is the Omen. This is the Omen.
She said that?
Yes.
She said that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know she said that. Oh, my God.
Look it up. Look it up, guys. Go look it up.
Oh, my God.
The nanny for Elon Musk said exactly what he just said. And he didn't even know that she said it.
No, I just got chills off the chart. Now I know what chills mean all over my body. I got chills all over my body. I didn't even know that.
Nino Rodriguez said this.
Holy
I like to call you my good friend Nino, okay, champ, okay, Nino Rodriguez. Have you ever been on Nino?
No, not yet.
I'm gonna get you on. I'm gonna
love that.
I'm gonna tell her I'm gonna get you on. Yeah.
I won't hold anything back. I'll guarantee you, I won't hold anything back. The only way to get the golden age is not to hold anything back. And let me tell you this: the Neuralink, my God, it's like a dog and pony show, how they're presenting it. And he doesn't even understand it, just like Wachowski didn't understand the tech. The Neuralink is the wheelchair for the mind. It's assisted living. If you take the Neuralink, you will not be able to, you're not going to be super, super smart. You'll have recall, you'll have memories coming in, you'll become dependent on it, but you'll never be smarter than the other person that has the Neuralink. It'll put you on a common line. But if you're going to avoid the Neuralink, and if you're a genius and have layered thinking, and you have the potential for being a genius, that's like everybody does, then the Neuralink is not for you, because the Neuralink is going to cap you. It's going to be a general thing where you become dependent on it. It's like watching your computer and relying on your computer for everything you know, instead of the world of wonder, the world of discovery, the world of layered thinking, the world of feeling. And let me tell about feelings too. The Neuralink is going to dull you down robot-like, which is in the screenplay. The reason the robot-like agents are robot-like is because they are on the Neuralink. Think of it. It affects the way you feel. If you're part of your computer and processing, yeah, you're not going to be that dynamic in the emotional realm. And you don't want to give up the treasures of feeling. And that's all through here. I was just opening up to a scene where the Neuralink is being pulled from Neo because they're told that it's diseased. It was a tracking device. The architect had it as a diseased program, and that his Neuralink was like a time bomb. At a certain time, it's going to start to degrade. He starts to age. And they even had the scene used in Lost. They took it in Lost by the same players, where the character who is immortal sees a gray hair and realizes, oh my God, one gray hair, and realizes he's aging. He's in trouble from the one gray hair. They use that. Anyway, so what happens is he's told by the doctors on the underground, when they have 3 days to get him ready, to use Smith's Neuralink. Think of it. Think of the way the story is that Wachowski didn't understand. They ruined it. In underground, which the architect allows to happen, like with the tracking device, he's told he has to lose his Neuralink. He's been dependent on it for ages. He doesn't know how to think. He's been dependent on it, which is part of the bad things about the Neuralink. You become dependent on it. So if somebody cuts it out, you're a babbling idiot.
It's like a calculator. Nobody knows how to do math anymore because we depend on a calculator.
Exactly. That's going to happen to our minds. We understand this. Let's not fall for the Elon Musk.
No one's going to be able to write anymore because we're depending on ChatGPT and all these artificial intelligences. And eventually, no one's going to can write something with their own brain power because you have become dormant.
It'll be homogenized. Exactly. And you'll never get beyond a certain. Now, here's the other part that's coming to us. And I know this. That's why they wanted to shut me up. Is the elite have it planned to have an extraordinary upper level tier Neuralink for them? The general populace is going to get a lower echelon Neuralink that won't be as good because they'll say they can't handle it. Really? Yeah, it's for your own good, your own protection, that you don't get the higher enhanced one. Only we at the top will have the higher enhanced one. What just happened in that scenario? What just happened in that scenario? We just agreed, if we took it, to be dumber than our captors, than our handlers, than those that don't care about us, that stand on the stage and give a Nazi salute. Yeah.
They're not done with us, are they?
No, not at all. We are being cataloged and decided on a list about who's going to survive the next wave or the reset. What the plan is, and they said at the UN, Bill Gates talked about it too. What's very funny is, not funny, but they said the only way we can sustain our planet is reduce the population. Now they left it at that. Okay. So the next question would be, for those of us that have brains, all of us here, is, so what's your solution to reducing the population? Elon has named his son it. Elon gives a sign all the time. He named Twitter it. It is the final solution. It's the X. Why does he do the X all the time? He's putting it in our face. The X is the final solution. The X means reduce the population. And you know what's so sad about this? Those of us that are chosen by our merits, which is in the Immortals, the original screenplay, The Matrix, original one, we're chosen supposedly by our merits, and we're supposed to be grateful that we're part of that lottery, that we're part of that choice. Now, they leak it through everything from Armageddon to Deep Impact to all these films where Morgan Freeman, the president, gets on and says, there's going to be a lottery. Now, we're going to take our top scientists, our top elite, they'll be in, then we'll have a lottery for the rest of you schmucks, and we'll have a little bit of a, where you might just get in. So that'll placate you because, a couple of you might get in, and you'll be grateful we took you. No.
Now,
No, no,
listen, listen. How
no,
do we come up with the perfect fucking title now where we can get 8 billion people on planet Earth to watch this video? Because this needs to be watched.
Yeah, this is
I
the
mean,
answer.
how many mic drops should I give Tom? How many? 16, 17, 18?
God
How
bless you.
many?
God
How
bless you.
many?
God bless you. You know what I want to see? Here's what I want to see, Mel. Since I published the tech, and Warner Bros. Was so incensed that I said this on record. I published the tech. It is published. This is distributed, published. Neuralink is published. If we go back to the original law, that's a facto. It's our tech, because I'll share it. It's our tech, right? And we can control what happens with it. For us, it's not about the money. It's about making sure the children are safe, the elderly are respected and safe, that our world is safe, and we can advance as a civilization, as a society, as a species, together, right? So what's interesting is it's all here. It's our rights they took. They hijacked the timeline. We can get it back. And what's interesting is what I want to do as the creator, or the one that was allowed to channel this through, the creator of the Neuralink, what I want to do is take Elon Musk and the rest of them and have a tribunal, a world tribunal, an actual one. And then I want to use the Neuralink to convict them by their own thoughts. I want to use the Neuralink to use their memories to convict them. Every pedophile moment, anything we want to draw from, just like the agencies do, we'll choose and pick, and we'll air it publicly. And we'll show their own thoughts convicting them. There you go. The Truman Show, take a bow. That's what's going to happen if the original author gets his God-given right back to his tech that was published. And then I want to share it with top minds that we can utilize it, harness what we need to for it, put the rest back in the Pandora's box. So what we need to do is have the geniuses, all of you out there, lead the way. That is the code in the Matrix. The Wachowskis didn't understand it. Even in the ripped off work of that visual storyboard, lifted all the images they thought were cool, still the message came across, even in lifted images. It still leaked through. The Wachowskis couldn't explain it. That's why they didn't want to do interviews after they got caught, not understanding it. And Joel Silver said they were embarrassed. But it's the code in here is to gather geniuses and different people who have compassion from cross disciplines to solve the world problems. That's the code in the Matrix, and you're doing it at Cape Canaveral.
That's why I'm in the picture, Tom.
That's why you're in the picture.
Because I am so excited. As a matter of fact, do not go, because I'm going to give you a private screening of the opening movie to the Quantum Summit. It's 7 minutes and 47 seconds long. Right. And you better fasten your seatbelt and activate all your airbags because you're going to need them. Okay? The machines are not medical devices. It's the body that wants to heal the body, right? It's the body that wants to heal. And once it's in the atmosphere, it heals. Even stage 4, that thing that starts with a C and ends with an R that we're not allowed to mention here because they think they own the word.
That's right. See, what we're in right now is the very premise of the Immortals, which is that longevity has been solved. Stanford, IBM, they're saying they came up with it. The reason Joel Silver, after he stole this work and threw our case and not allowing any of the evidence to go in, announced altered carbon. Look at altered carbon. They call it the greatest sci-fi concept ever. In altered carbon, the rich have immortality, the poor is used as pawns. We're right there. Everything that was the Immortals, that's why it's called the Immortals, is happening. So you have the Neuralink along companion with the immortal drug, the immortal program. It's happening. The elite feel like now they don't have to age anymore. In the backstory of the Immortals, the elite are disappearing. Homes are left untouched. Where'd the elite go? People say, oh, they've been tribunaled. Oh, no, they've been cloned. They've been put away. I'm not going to knock anything. What I'm going to say is this. In the original story, from my take, the elite are taken away because they don't want the public not seeing them aging anymore. So what's happening is they thought that would cause an uproar, riots, everything. So right now, people are disappearing, elite are disappearing, and they're living it very nice. They're having a great life right now off camera because they are not aging anymore. The anti-aging program has arrived. The red pill has been instituted. The blood of the children, the growth hormones has created a longevity program. And it's happening right now. And that's why Joel Silver, one of the biggest thugs and the hated man in Hollywood, put altered carbon and called it the greatest concept ever in sci-fi history. Because the rich in the future are having immortality. We got to claim it back. And that's what Neo and my character in my own story does. My own character, model after myself, is fighting for the rights for all people to choose what they want and not to let the elite have it. That's why he's sent back in the program. And that red pill, blue pill being mixed, every one of us says we're red pilled. The red pill is based on the blood of the children. It's a bad pill. They reversed it, so everybody says they're red pilled. How many people do you hear say they're red pilled? That's them reversing it. So we'll say we condone ingesting the blood of the children. The blue pill is the good pill. The red pill is the bad pill. They reversed it. The red pill is not offered with blue pill by Morpheus in the original work at the same time. That's stupid. That's like, here's the red pill, here's the placebo. The red pill is offered by Smith, demanded that Neo take it in the beginning of the film, because that's what the cabal does. You take this or you and your family die. You got too close, you're too good. Okay, you take this red pill, you and your family die. I was offered that. Then what happens if you refuse it? All hell breaks loose. If you accept it, you end up like Elon Musk, just living the high life. If you refuse it and care about humanity and actually care, you end up in underground. And they offer you the blue pill so you can get back in the program if you've been cut from the program. The blue pill is the mechanism and the way back in, not based on the blood of the children, with painful side effects. So you pay a price to go back and fight for the rights of all living human beings in life.
Wow. You just blew my mind, bro. Let me tell you. I can't, we get this technology again at Staying Alive. We have a lady who's very wealthy. Her name is, I won't give you her full name. Her name is Julie. She's a very dear friend of mine. She lives down in Brickell. She's she's got a little bit of this. Okay. Her brother came in, double stroke, prostate, can't walk properly, can't talk properly, slept in the system for 3 months. He bought 3 overnights, unlimited. Okay. Now he's at the gym bodybuilding. His speech is back to normal. His face is back to normal. His prostate is completely, the body cured the prostate, not the machines. Right?
Right.
All of it. Okay. She
Yes.
came, she got suspicious. She said, gee, I wonder if this is age reversal. She sent in a blood test into a lab in Texas. They sent it back 20 a month. She stayed in the system also herself for a month. 2 months, but she did 1 month and then she came back, got suspicious, did a blood test, came back 23%. Her telomeres grew by 23%.
Right. By using natural way. That is beautiful, Mel. Let me give you something else about the Neuralink. You just maybe cap into it.
Sure.
Is in the screenplay, when what you see in the screenplay, the original work they didn't want you to see, is that when the Neuralink is implanted, like when they put Smith's Neuralink into Neo, he becomes like a ravenous animal. What happens is it can drive you mad. Just think of having other implant of other people's memories where you no longer have your own control of that because it's disciplined to have memory. Other people's memories in your head talk about the Manchurian candidate, but also if you have that in you, it will drive you mad. Think of this. How much stress do people carry in our age right now? And the CIA and agencies encourage that stress. It's a way to destabilize the population, right? They want that. So they cause stress, all these immigrants, everything else, all the mess that's going on in the country, that causes stress. They want that. So if you have a Neuralink, now think of this, a Neuralink implanted, that means all those triggers, all those stress factors, all that stuff is now all at once compiled in your head where every stressor is now amplified. It's amplified. You can't get away from it. It's running through your skull and brain and head and your being. Every one of those stressors now are fully understood. If you have been raped, if you've been assaulted, if you've been mocked, if you had a loss of a loved one, it's going to echo through your mind in detail, in layers, all at once with a Neuralink. Do you want that?
Of course not.
You'll go mad.
Of course not.
It's not the way we're supposed to be. But if you have a natural way to be, think of this. What you're talking about, this light and everything, is letting the body heal itself. Also, if the stress is gone, we'll heal a lot better. If we're able to lift each other in a harmonious environment, sharing with a good intentions and lifting each other, we will also heal along with what you're talking about. Will also be a healing agent in that. So let's get rid of the stress and let's allow ourselves to have a peaceful existence without all the stressors. And if you fund the agencies, it'll be a peaceful world. We have the steps towards it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you said that. When your body is de-stressed, when you're at the most meditative point in your life is when you're sleeping. That's why we recommend the overnight packages, okay? Because when you're sleeping, you're at the most meditative state that you could possibly reach. And when your body is in that state with this light system, that's when the magic happens. That's exactly what happens.
Absolutely. So I'm saying, let's take us the way you're talking. Let's do it. The timing's perfect. When I went to Tampa and met you, I felt like there's a brother right there. And it's like right away I knew. Right away you stood out. And it's like I knew good things were coming, that we were going to do some good things, all of us together. And it was like, now's the right timing. After all this time, now's the right timing for people to get it. Watch the agencies throw all the people they can to, disrupt, put down, and the things they throw. And they do it so note that they do it so unintelligently, yet they try to make it like they're smart. But I just want to point this out. A lot of the shows, they come across like morons, really. When they try to mock you, they come across like idiots. And they
Yes.
attach that laughing face, and it's like they're not laughing, they're angry people. But it's like it just blows my mind that the tactics of the agencies is to throw schmucks our way to try to talk it down, but they don't engage in critical thinking. They just attack. They don't engage in an argument of like, let's weigh evidence. They just attack. Places like it's all lies, crazy person. Oh, yawn. I'm bored. If you're bored with what we're talking about, you must be on the wrong planet because I mean, this is exciting. This is thrilling. It's like the world's going to change. This is the best time to be alive in history. If you want to make a difference, this is it. For the best people to make that difference. God bless us all.
Why do you think I'm so enamored and so obsessed and so possessed with the fact that I want to make 1 million people multi-billionaires? If Mel Carmine can make 1 million new multi-billionaires, good people that want to do good stuff with the money, can you imagine what the world would be like when you got 1 million new multi-billionaires that are all worth 28, 39 billion, 69 billion, 89 billion dollars, and the cabal wants to F with us?
Well, that's the thing. Think of what we talked about today. The D players are the billionaires. The D players, the failed people who can't think besides wiping their ass, are the ones that have the billions because they took our tech, they took our work, they harnessed ideas. If it's restored back, which everybody keeps talking about, the restoring it back, we're the ones that have the billions and we earned it. We're the ones that earned it. And we have the heart. The reason we were able to make those, to be meriting those billions is because we had a heart for humanity. That's what caused us. That was the driving engine behind our creativity and to see it in fruition.
Yes.
And what's interesting, Musk has this clip where he's talking about the 2%, why the 2% succeed and the 98% don't. Right now, the 2% succeed because they're stealing from the other ones that create.
Exactly.
Yes, Elon Musk. Yeah, the 2% are going to succeed. Yeah, the 2% are going to succeed once we get it back from your fat ass hands, what you stole. Yeah, and we have the proof. Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
19th mic drop. Unbelievable. You're on fire, bro. Hey, listen, this is a little pointer for all you podcasters out there. Always do your podcast in the morning. You're in California, aren't you?
No, I'm here in Texas right now.
Oh, you're in Texas.
Texas is the safest state for us.
Always do your podcast in the morning because when people that are intelligent wake up and they have their cup of coffee or whatever it is they drink in the morning, whether it's coffee or tea, their brains are firing on all cylinders. Then you get a great interview. Listen, and not all podcasters are created equal too. We can have that conversation off camera.
Yeah, and not all podcasters have don't have a price. It's like everybody has a price. Yeah, some of them don't, and God bless y'all.
Yeah. But let's talk a little bit about Trump, and I think you'll agree with Mel Carmine. I think Trump is a good guy, and I think he's playing Elon Musk like a pawn in a chess match to expose him, because this guy was worth billions of dollars. And I always say the story, and it's always gonna be the same story because it's true. He could have taken his $10 billion, his private jet, go buy an island in the middle of somewhere, and say, screw you guys messed this up. I'm out of here. When you fix it, if you fix it, call me. I'll come back.
Well, you just hit something so big. If Trump, through Roseanne, is saying this is the greatest story, that tells me something right there. You just made me think of it. If he's saying that, he's got to have a heart. And you said about the chess game. Disney attorney said that this is a chess game. They call it that. And you're right. And what it made me think too, when Elon just pushed his way into that inaugural thing and got on the stage and Trump wasn't even there, it sounds like Trump's allowing him to get away with these things and to get up there because he's in control. Trump's in control of the situation. That shows me I would take it as a writer. If I was creating the scenario in a screenplay, in my mind, I would play it out for the most logical sequence would be that Trump was allowing Elon to appear because he's in total control of the situation. Trump's in total control of the situation. So I'll let you feel like you're in control, Elon, by getting out there with me not even present, but I am present. I am present as far as Trump's thinking.
So the reason why Trump did what he did and he ran for president, lost $4.5 billion in the process, and he did, okay? And he's not like you know, what's his name? That idiot over there out of New York. I can't think of his name either right now. Um, George Soros, the guy that they print billions of dollars to give to him, and as soon as he's running out, they give him more billions to f with you.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Nobody replenished Donald Trump his $4.5 billion. That's why,
Right.
because he knows that if he doesn't fix this, which he's guided by God, okay, if he doesn't fix this, his children, his children's children, for the next 29 generations to come,
Yeah.
don't have a shot in hell.
Right. Well, one of the greatest things that happened, which was the dumbest things that happened, the Federal Bureau of Imbeciles raided Trump's place. What a stupid thing to do. What a stupid thing to do. You just made an enemy of one of the greatest men on this earth. You raided his home, rifled through his wife's closet, and came with a warrant that wasn't even filled in, basically, if I understand correctly. Just with all those agents. That was dumb.
You
That
call it
was
the Federal Bureau of Idiots. I love it. We call it
imbecile.
We call it Forever Bother Italians.
There you go. Yeah, I call them Federal Bureau of Imbeciles because, that's their go-to card. Raid. They raid. That's got to stop, all these raids. And I've said to them too on the air, because they follow it. Like people say with the interruptions on the air and things like this, they'll mess with the phones. They have universal surveillance. It's right in Man in High Castle. They put it there,
Yeah. This is
yeah.
why I preach XRP, dude. XRP is going to be the Bitcoin on steroids 5.0. It's still available at $3 per token right now. You're crazy not to buy it. People are going to go back and say, oh my God, when we got to the Quantum Summit, the XRP was $10 or $20 or $30, whatever it's going to be. And you're going to go fast forward to 2 years into the future and say, you mean I could have bought XRP at $20 or $30 when I was at the Quantum Summit? Yes. And you didn't do it. And now it's 10,000. Now it's 50,000. Because if you put the XRP in the hands of the right people, the right shit's going to happen.
Yep, absolutely. Can I tell you one other thing too, just to show how dumb they are?
Sure.
And dumb Elon is on this. Really, he really is. It sounds like I'm picking on him. When people go like, "You're picking on," why are you picking on the Wachowskis? You're picking on. Sounds like you're picking on him. I'm like, my sons are dead. They are murdered by the agencies. They bragged about that. My intellectual property is taken. And what? I'm supposed to be nice to these guys that have harmed children and have farmed them? I don't think I want to be nice to them right now. I think I'm going to call them on the carpet and be brutal about it. I'm going to go ahead and have the right to call them down. And I'm going to do it. So I don't apologize for how I speak about these guys, these clowns, these idiots. So yeah, I'm not going to apologize. But I was just thinking about the, God, I just finally drew a blank on it. But yeah, oh, there it is. Elon Musk, in his proposals for what the Neuralink's going to do, get this. In the beginning of the screenplay, Neo in the interrogation scene, Neo counterpart character, he says like he has some pain because Smith puts a precursor Neuralink in the back of his neck, which has a pin in it. And do you know what Elon was proposing? Fine filaments, pin-like filaments that go into the back of the brainstem. What? And he says it'll be minimal damage. What? You freaking idiot. If you just move a couple pages in, you'll see the adaptive collar. You'll see the adaptive collar where there's no contact with the brainstem, you freaking idiot. The adaptive collar, which is all through Matrix, you see the adaptive collar does not have pins entering the flesh, you freaking moron. Catch up and just turn the pages you're too lazy to read. Oh. So the Neuralink is supposed to be not harmful as far as it going into the body, because how many times, if you look at Matrix, the adaptive collar, what the Wachowskis do with it, made it overblown like this big hunking mass on the back of the neck where this huge thing goes in like this because we're dumb and we want to make it cooler. It's a simple little thing that goes into the back of the neck, into the adaptive collar. Not a huge frickin' sterile railroad spike, you frickin' idiots. God help us. That's what happens when idiots get geniuses' work. They have to overblow it to compensate for their lack of knowledge. You know what's going to be scary? Idiots with a Neuralink. Because they'll all be homogenized robots, basically, just speaking to us with the same stuff. I can see it right now. We'll have a room full of them debating with us, and they'll all be wanting to say the same thing because they're all linked up to the same circuit. God help us. Send in the clowns. And us as they're free thinking, they're not going to follow us. Just picture all these faces looking at you. They were stupid, drooling, idiot, dumb people like Elon and the Wachowskis looking at you with their Neuralinks going like, we all feel the same. And then you're saying something smart and they all react the same way at the same time. It's like It's the Matrix. It's the Matrix. It's the Matrix.
Oh my God. I hope you get a copy. I hope you get a copy of this. I've never seen you on camera. I've seen you on stage. Okay. Thanks to my good friend there, Louis Herms. Okay. Yeah. And thank you, Louis, for inviting me. That was awesome because I was supposed to meet you. But man, I hope that Roseanne Barr gets to see this because this is off the charts. Off the charts.
I hope she doesn't mind because like she was saying too, she said like Elon gave money to support Trump's campaign. The thinking was from the inside there, it was Elon helped us defeat the cabal. What you have to realize is Elon's part of the cabal. When you pay your way in, that's a big tactic. Giving money doesn't mean I'm loyal. Giving money in the cabal means I'm in. I'm now on the inside. That's their key to get in. It doesn't mean he's loyal. It means he's in. And that's stolen blood money anyway. Many children
you just gave me the title. You're just giving me the title to this thing. Elon is part of the cabal. We have plausible proof.
Yo, he is. He's the one who owns stolen tech under the control of Warner Brothers, Disney, and the cabal. They're the ones that hijacked and took the tech. The FBI on every film, basically, it says the FBI will prosecute if, the FBI is supposed to protect intellectual property. Instead, they're profiting off the theft of intellectual property because they're the paid off security guards looking the other way and having their palms greased as they do. That's what they're doing. The best people to steal, to make sure the work is stolen, are the ones that are supposed to guard the safe.
Did you ever hear of something called Nasara and Jassara?
I heard the name.
Okay. They're disguising it under DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. If you go to my website, QFS1776.com, number 9 in the video column is not the video. It's the actual document that was written by the farmers saying this is the way we should run things. Doing away with taxes. It talks about tariffs. It talks about everything they're talking about doing right now is in that document, but they're disguising it as DOGE, right? It's amazing. Right? Yeah, it's amazing.
Fantastic. You made me think of something else. It's because when you think in layers, let me explain things to people out there that do maybe understand, don't understand. When you think in layers, when Mel's talking to me and I'm talking to Mel, a layer will be activated of all these thoughts that are going. It's like Minority Report when you move the things around, and it'll activate something that seems like it's disconnected, but actually is connected in a 3rd degree, 4th degree, and that will come to light as its importance is activated. It's really cool. So you could be talking, Mel could be talking about puppies walking down the lane, and I end up talking about doing away with drugs. But it connects in layers. It's pretty cool. A lot gets done that way. But here's what I want to ask people. I want to ask people to share what you're bringing forward. You are helping to save our world, Mel. And what I'm asking too is to help save my son. The agencies they said to me, Disney said it was a chess game. On the same call I taped with their attorneys, they said, we know you're concerned for your last son's safety. My other 2 were murdered. They told me they were murdered, and I have 1 last son alive. They were saying to me that they don't concern for my last son's safety. So if I was to speak as I'm doing on your program, they're threatening they would not kill me, they kill my son. So I'm saying if you can share this, if people can share this program that Mel's doing right now, share it, please. It means my son will be safe, because Disney made it clear that if word gets out, we quote, have won the chess game. My son lives, and we can finish our work together. So I want to say, please share this. The agencies won't like it. They won't like it at all, but it'd help our president do a better decisions or do what he's doing. It'll help him make his move and feel secure in his move he's making. Yeah, he could be in control of the whole situation right now, but please do share this to get this out.
Agencies, this needs to go hyper viral times 1,000 times 1,000 times 1,000 times 1,000. Everybody's got to see this. Everybody. Yeah, and everybody's got to come see him on stage because, I mean, look, he's going to, a lot of what's going on behind the scenes in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And we didn't even disclose here. We haven't even scratched the scratch yet. Okay?
Yeah.
So I can't wait it's going to be epic. It really is.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. What you're doing is you've entered the movie. Disney's attorney said to me, we put you in your own film. We put you in your own film. Well, if they're put us in our own film, they're on our turf. This is their expert witness said, created a fantastic world. Okay, this world that were created, that they're trying to use up the world of it, that's our world. That is our shared world. It was intended for us all. So they're on our turf, right? That's kind of dumb. And the other thing too is We control really what happens. They're imitating the art. The ending's all there. In the ending, they lose. Actually, there's an interesting element in the story. The agents, many of the agents of the agencies, which is actually from the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, is the backstory for what is Smith and Central Agency, the one world governing body, or I'm sorry, policing body, is Central from Central Intelligence Agency. Makes sense, doesn't it? So Smith, in the beginning of the backstory of the Immortals, is the upper echelon CIA department head. They didn't like that. The baddie is actually from their agency. Got to cut that out, right? Right? Yeah. But in the end, they switch sides. The agents join Neo and Underground. Why? Because the architect purges his agents. He doesn't need them anymore.
Exactly.
Remember that from Matrix? Exactly. The agents get purged, right? And Neo and the Smith blend because he takes on his Neuralink. And they keep that in the Matrix. They lifted that 20-foot, stay back, coffee girl, 20 feet rule. Don't look at the script. While we're doing that, they're lifting that scene and making up as they go along, taking what they're familiar with. They wrote the script afterwards. And that also was where Smith comes up with the pigeons kicking away, and the Oracle was just sitting on the bench, and he comes up saying, we're blended. I don't know what happened. We're blended. He's gone rogue because we're blended. I'm blended with you. Yeah, Wachowski's bad rendering. In the original screenplay, Neo is blended with Smith by using his Neuralink so they can access the memories. He tries to adapt to it. That's why Trinity has to go with him, because he's fighting all the real memories from Smith's dark mind, even about the harming of his family they took out. And then that's why he's trying to find the dome using the Smith memories and suffering from those memories. Because as I described earlier, that's what you're going to do. You're going to suffer from those memories, right? The other person's memories driving you mad. That's why Trinity goes along. See, it all is right there. And the Wachowskis did a very bad rendering of everything, including things like the architect in a room of monitors clicking a silver pen to channel change all these monitors. Look like 1950s reruns of, Barney the policeman. So it's like that doesn't make any sense. But if you go back to what originally was, the architect's silver pen is actually in Neo's hand when Smith is there and the agent's talking through the eyes of another agent talking to Smith, which they used in Kung Fu Panda. And then they have the whole thing where the room of monitors is with Smith in the room of monitors that monitor all the agents and can see what they see through their Neuralink. And also the architect is not in the room of monitors with a silver pen. They mix that around in the visuals lifted from the storyboard with keeping people 20 feet back and trying to make up as they go along. And they did a really bad job. It's just so bad how they ripped it off. Liquid mirrors were taken out of place as they reworked it, made up on set, and put it with Morpheus with the blue pill, red pill, Alice in Wonderland, drawing from what they're familiar with. And then they have Neo put his hands for the mirror. Actually, the liquid mirrors need to go back to the train station original work, where they are the security devices that you can only pass through them if you take the red pill. Nobody who didn't take the red pill can pass through it. That's how you stop by between worlds, which they kept in the Matrix, but they look liquid mirrors out of there. So how they cover for taking liquid mirrors out of there, they have Neo running down the train tracks and then appearing back at the station like he's an Escher print. Doesn't make any sense. That's really stupid. That's how they covered it. Just put the liquid mirrors back and you've got the security devices that make more sense back there, where you have the man trying to run through with a person that was red pilled and he didn't get there fast enough and got cut in half like a bug in resin. So when you get back to how it was actually in place, I said a lot really fast. When you put it back the way it originally was, it makes sense rather than the way they lifted it. Sorry about that. It's just
you're good.
I'm so frustrated with how they lifted it and simplified everything. The worst people in the world to re-render the original work were the Wachowskis. They failed at everything. But the reason they took them in again is because they were failed is important to them. D players they can bring in-house so they can claim the work in-house through them. But the Wachowskis wanted to have a leg up on Warner Brothers, were angry at them because they were cut from Assassins and other writers brought in. So what they do to get back at the Warner Brothers, they sneak in the first graphic, the very first graphic of the Matrix, the very first graphic with the interrogation scene, the folder is opened with the author's high school, the author's fiance's birthday, as Neo's birthday, my dad's name, marital status, my TA 4099 in the column, which was TA was 4099. All that in the first graphic of the author was put there so the Wachowskis and their small minds can have a leg up back on Warner Brothers. They didn't like Warner Brothers having control of them. They weren't happy. They weren't giving credit for the tech because that would have been a lot more power in getting laid in their small minds. So they get back at Warner Brothers with their brilliant minds by putting all the author's information, including his high school, Central West, as Neo's school.
Now, how much of the movie that you wrote did they alter? Would you say 20%, 30%? And we'll have a part two. We're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it on a cliffhanger, and we're gonna talk about on the next interview how they altered your movie, parts that they made worse, or maybe parts that they made better that you didn't think of.
I would love to talk about that, and I want to give you an answer. And this is I want this to be really clear. 100% of everything here. Which the reason Joel Silver said we hope we used up the rest of the story in 2003 when they finished the second and third installments, and the reason they did Animatrix with all those shorts is to use up the rest of the story. 100% of this material was lifted. 100% was used visually and then re-rendered. And that's why there was a big argument at the end where they said, just everyone on the set, they said to blow up the Matrix. And the Wachowski said, no, we're going to keep it as it is. Keep it as it is. Why is there an argument about how to end it if you actually did a screenplay? Why is there a 20-foot rule that you're not allowed to look at it? And gay guys aren't allowed to make suggestions. So they're there, as the fight choreographer said, making up as they go along off bits. And then they hope they used up the rest of the story, that visual storyboard, 600 pages. That's a lot. So everything, 100% of this was used. 100%.
So let's talk about the specifics of that on the next version, part two. Sure. I want to have him back for part two. And I want you to, when you get to the Quantum Summit, I want you to definitely talk about the evilness that happens behind the curtain for you to make it as an actor or a screenplay writer or a producer, director, shoe shine guy, busboy, whatever that works in Hollywood. And also, guys, if you want to have dinner with these wonderful speakers that we're going to have on stage at the Quantum Summit, you definitely want to buy a ticket to the gala dinner, because then you could sit down with this gentleman at the gala dinner and pick his brain. Okay, that's why you're going to be there, because you're going to get to sit down with these superstars. We are the new media. Deal with it.
That'd be really refreshing to me too, because I'll tell you what, I'm tired of having idiot agents and Hollywood morons talking to me. I'd rather be talking to smart people and enjoying that. And I really enjoyed talking with you, Mel, today.
Oh, we have a lot of smart people that follow Mel Carmine. Let me tell you.
I know you do. And I like that. That's why I was really, excited. You've done a great job bringing word forward, bringing truth forward, being unabashed about it, and cutting through. And that's the way we get our planet back. That's the way we get our world back. And that's why I wrote the screenplay, to do that. So you're allowing this screenplay that was stolen to actually do its work. And I love you, man, for that. Thanks.
I appreciate you, buddy, immensely. I'm glad that we met. Can't wait to do part two. Can't wait to see you at the Quantum Summit. Guys, if you enjoyed this particular interview as much as I enjoyed giving it, you know what you got to do. Use your fingers. We are the digital soldiers, and we can't be beaten. We're going to take this planet back. We're going to create heaven on earth. We're going to create 100 million multi-billionaires if I had anything to do with it. If you all listen to me, you're going to go out and buy XRP at $3 today, because it's going to be a lot of money, because they need to use that system to move all of the money, and all of the money is 100 quadrillion conservatively, and you're not going to move 100 quadrillion with $3. You don't have to be a math major to figure that one out.
Exactly. And I want to point people to understanding what's going on here, how the agencies work. Real quick, nutshelling. It seems almost like I'm out of place. I'm sure of it. And other speakers like myself, we seem out of place because we seem confident. Often we seem like we got our evidence, but hey, he lost. Hey, he's not the guy. Hey, we heard he's not. For people like myself that, Mel, you are bringing forward, we will not seem out of place once credit restored. Once our evidence is actually brought forward, like Roseanne says, it's the greatest story in our case. Once we are restored with name credit, we fit back in the timeline where it's like, yeah, this guy wrote it. Yeah, this guy did it. Yeah, that's why he seems confident. Yeah, that's why he has all this evidence. We'll be back in a world where I'm going to enjoy that, because I'm going to see people around me being comfortable, not stressed, and enjoying the fruits of the hard-won labor of freedom that we got back together, where we wrote these pieces, did this work, created this tech for a better world that now we have achieved at that point. So I look forward to seeing you on the other side of this, where people will say, yeah, it makes sense. These guys all did what they did. It was the agencies and the media that made it look like they didn't. That's why they looked out of place. And I wrote the piece that people like ourselves would fit in this world. I wrote the piece to change the way the world thinks, that genius minds would fit in the world, because you didn't fit. So I tried to find a solution. All right, Mel, thanks so much.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Allhouse. It was a pleasure, and I can't wait to do part two. Guys, get this out everywhere. Do it now. Do your job.